And good morning, everybody. My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners at CSL Redlands. And we invite you to join us for today's meditation service. Wherever you are, you found us. And so you kept your divine appointment, and we appreciate you, and we are so grateful for you. So let's start by just taking a few deep breaths in together. Deep inhales in and deep exhales out. And as we breathe in the breath of God. And as we exhale out, we release anything that does not match that perfect breath of God. We breathe in the grace of God. And we exhale and release anything and everything that does not match God's perfect grace. We breathe in the unconditional love of God. And we exhale and surrender anything that does not match the unconditional love of God. And as we return to our normal breathing, we're reminded that this power and this presence, this love, this grace, this unconditional love is here and now in this place. It's in this space. It is in me, it is in you. And it is from this place that we consecrate this sacred time of stillness and sacred silence to the remembering of the I am that I am. And should your mind wander during the meditation, simply chant the mantra to yourself. I am the unconditional love of God. I am the unconditional love of God. I am the unconditional love of God. And we rest in this place now. We are held in the sacred arms of the divine, in the stillness and the sacred silence now. I am the unconditional love of God. I am the unconditional love of God. I am. I am. I am. unconditional love of God. I am the unconditional love of God. I am the unconditional love of God. So inviting you now to become mindful of your breathing. Just allow every breath to have gratitude within it. Every exhale to have gratitude within it. Every breath, even more gratitude. And every exhale, even more gratitude. How good it is to have gratitude for our breath. How good it is to have gratitude for our life. How good it is to have gratitude for the unconditional love that we are. And so inviting you to bring your consciousness and awareness back to this moment in time. You may want to tap your toes to the ground, being certain you can feel Mother Earth supporting you and sustaining you. You may want to tap the fingertips together. And when you're ready and in your own time, just allow for the outer eyes to open, becoming aware of one another, becoming aware of your surroundings and space. And let's just know that this gratitude pervades every place and space that we are, and see that gratitude connecting to one another, whether you're watching us remotely or in person. Seeing that indeed there's only one unconditional love. There's only one gratitude. And we join within it worldwide now. And this concludes our meditation service for this Sunday. How fortunate I feel to be with you all. Namaste. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. My name is Brother Mark. I'm one of the licensed practitioners and board members at Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. And so we are so grateful that you're here with us today. I know that you're in the right place at the right time, and so it is.
Indeed. Thank you, Gilman. Boy, there is so much truth in that song. Our soul is welcome here and everywhere we are. We are the very breath and the unconditional love of God. Yeah. I want to thank Brother Mark for that beautiful meditation this morning. Thank you so much. No matter who you are or where you are on your journey of faith, know that you are always welcome right here. My name is Reverend Carrie Masters, and I'm the senior minister and spiritual leader here. And I'm very happy to tell you that we are an open and inclusive community that honors all people from every background, all races, sexual orientations, gender expressions, and spiritual paths. Our purpose is to awaken humanity to its spiritual magnificence, and our vision is a world that works for everyone. If you are here with us for the very first time, we would love it if you would give us a wave and let us know that you're brand new with us. And we welcome you to our community and our service today. And now let's take a moment to greet everyone. We can open the mics on our online folks and just greet everyone. Good morning. Okay. Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. Okay. Wonderful. Well, we'll move right into our centering music then with Gilman.
On Zoom, they can't say hi to each other, or they can? Oh, it's just that's how we do it. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and love returns to me. I send my joy over the mountains. I send my joy over the sea. I send my joy into the heavens, and joy returns to me. I send my power over the mountains. I send my power over the sea. I send my power into the heavens, and power returns to me. I send my peace over the mountains. I send my peace over the sea. I send my peace into the heavens, and peace returns to me, and peace returns to me.
And so I invite you to join me in our opening prayer. And let's just do that together by taking an exhale out, everything that's preceded this moment in time, just letting it all go with our breathing. And as we inhale in that unconditional love of God that Reverend Carrie so beautifully spoke about. Let's breathe that in. And with the exhale out, we release anything and everything that does not match that perfect unconditional love of God. Just let it go. Anything and everything that no longer serves you, let's exhale that out again. And as we inhale in, we breathe in the unconditional love of pure spirit, of pure God. And as we exhale out, we surrender any remnants that don't match that perfect unconditional love and grace. And as we return to our normal breathing now, we're reminded that there's only one power, one presence, one life always happening. It is perfect, it is whole, it is complete, it is always perfect God and perfect man. I speak my word from this platform of unification and oneness, knowing that indeed, right where you are, God is, and just say that at home with me right now, right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. Right where I am, God is. And so I continue this prayer from this knowing that with that knowing, nothing can hurt, harm, or endanger you in any way. That all your needs are met right on time, every time, for it is perfect spirit that made you perfect, whole, and complete. And so anything that is missing or lacking that in the human that you see as missing or lacking, allow for it now to be transformed. Allow for a revelation. Allow for a healing. Allow for a transformation right here and right now for all of your needs to be met. Just say yes, yes, to your highest and greatest good to come forth right here and right now. So if it's cash and money, some are already receiving that, whether it doesn't matter what source that it is, and it can be from unexpected and unconditional source. So say always yes to your source as cash and money and abundance and health and wealth and joy and divine right romance and romantic relationships, divine right family relationships, perfect health and wholeness, perfect abundance in every way, in the human and more importantly in the divine with a capital D. For with the divine, knowing that you are that, there is nothing missing, lacking, needing, or wanting. And so I know that God knows, I know that Spirit knows exactly what you need right where you are as you are. And God says yes. Spirit says yes. The universe says yes to your highest and greatest good to come forth right here and right now. And so let's just take a moment and remember all those who are suffering, all those who are unwell at this moment, and let's lift them and raise them now. Just see that in your mind's eye. Is every need met globally? Just see that. That is how we have that peace that Gilman was singing about. That is how we have that world that works for everyone, as Reverend Carrie was speaking about. When we can lift them, just lift them in your mind's eye now. See all needs met. See food and supplies reaching the 400 to 500,000 children in Yemen who are suffering and malnourished. See that worldwide. See that worldwide. See people suffering on the border on both sides. See divine right action for government in all forms and governmental leaders in all forms. See that there could be a miracle, a transformation, and a healing right here and right now. Know it. Know it to be true. I know that we have two or more gathered and we have said yes to a greater good. And so we rock the place. It looks like we might have a ceiling on our cathedral, but we don't. It is open at the top for the highest and best good for everyone. This is the energy we bring. This is the energy we are. And so with a grateful heart, I invite you to join me in this knowing and affirming that it is true now and it is so. Just say, it is so. It is done. And I expect it. And so I release my word to the law of life, knowing indeed it says yes, indeed it is complete, indeed it is done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Wow. And so today's reading was selected by Reverend Carrie, and it comes from somebody quite brilliant, Reverend Jeffrey Ryan, and he's at CSL Riverside, and he's their spiritual leader. And in the Science of Mind magazine in March 2021, he writes this about visioning, and I believe he's the Center for Spiritual Living. He's the visioning chair, right? Okay, so here we go. During the visioning process, in asking, what must I release, we open to the revelation of obstacles, encumbrances, and limitations in our beliefs and behaviors that impede our alignment with the vision. The vision is already complete in the divine mind, waiting for us to clear the way. Think of it as washing dirt from a window so the sunlight shines brightly through. The release is always a release in consciousness, But it can also be a letting go of the physical plane as well. Letting go of relationships, ways of being, habits, actions, attitudes, and beliefs. In releasing these things that do not serve the fulfillment of the vision, we create a vacuum that spirit immediately fills. We are then self-emptied and spirit-filled. Beautiful. And now is our message from our spiritual leader for all of CSL, right? Reverend Edward Viljoen.
Hello, I am Edward Viljoen. March's suggested theme is Open to Possibilities. And here are the suggested topics: living in the question, release and let go, with open arms, and commit to transformation. So clearly, this month, as we talk about being open to possibilities, we must speak of the spiritual practice called visioning. Now, you may be familiar with another spiritual practice called visualization. That's the method of forming a mental image of some desired good. In the way of visualization, we might begin with an idea in mind, something that we want to experience, and then we use our beautiful imagination to add details to it. What does it feel like? What does it look like? How do I want this particular good to be part of my life? Now, visioning is a little different. Instead of starting with an idea of some good in mind, we begin with the practice of openness. We might say we release and let go of our thoughts, or you could say even start with emptying your mind. In reality, we can't empty our minds of ideas. What we can do, though, is adopt an attitude of openness by silently asking ourselves a question, such as, what in divine mind is the highest idea for my life? When I'm practicing visioning, I ask myself such questions almost as if I were addressing an incredibly wise being, like the oracle at Delphi, but one that I don't have to travel long distances to see, because it is a presence that is conveniently located in my own consciousness. And then, once we've inquired within, we are to adopt an attitude of openness. We mentally open our arms to catch what comes into awareness. Not only do we adopt an attitude of openness, but we also try to let go of preconceived ideas as much as possible. And there is something else we have to deal with. The nature of the voice of the presence within, similarly to the oracle's response at Delphi, it can be mysterious and not immediately apparent. Do you know that people would travel great distances to consult the oracle, and they had to bring gifts, and they had to purify themselves before the consultation? It was a profoundly serious undertaking, maybe even a once-in-a-lifetime journey, to be approached with commitment, mindfulness, sincerity, and openness. Heraclitus, the ancient Greek philosopher, explained it like this, saying, the Lord, whose oracle is at Delphi, neither indicates clearly nor conceals, but gives a sign. I love that. In other words, the utterances of the oracle were famously ambiguous and had to be mindfully interpreted. I mention this because the spiritual practice of visioning shares some elements with the ancient visions of the oracle. Visioning is an inner practice. Now, it may require no journey and no third party between you, me, and the divine. It starts with the idea that the divine can be expressed within us in a unique way. And here's where it has something to compare with the oracle. Because this good, unique way may be something new, may be something we've never experienced or known before, we may have to interpret what comes through. Now, as with all spiritual practices, we do well to prepare ourselves before we vision. You could call that purification, if you will, or centering, or meditating. It's whatever you and I do to attain a calm attitude of mind before we get into the questions, before we ask, what is Spirit's highest idea of itself as my life? As an individualized expression of the one infinite reality, we have access to infinite wisdom and intelligence, the intelligence of the ultimate reality. And it flows through us, well, to the degree that we set our previous ideas aside and become larger, more willing channels for it to express. My blessings to you.
Grab your coat, get your hat, leave your worries on your doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. When you hear the pitter-pat and that a happy tune is your step, life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. I'm not afraid, this rover has crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be as rich as Jeffrey Bezos. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. You got to grab your coat, grab your hat, leave your worries on your doorstep. Just direct your feet, sunny side of the street. I said when you hear that pitter-pat, happy tune is your feet. Life can be so sweet on the sunny, sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Now I'm not afraid, this rover has crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be as rich as Warren Buffett. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I got that gold dust at my feet on the sunny, sunny, sunny side of the street.
Thank you, Gilman. Well, this morning, our message is about release and let go. This is one of the steps that we take when we are visioning. One of the questions that we ask is, what must I release in order for this vision to manifest? And so we're going to talk and focus on just the release process that needs to take place in order for the highest idea of our life to unfold. This is about really creating the very best in our life. It's like bringing in all of the greater good because we've made room for it by releasing what is no longer useful in our life. And there are so many things that we can release. We can release oh my, there's so many judgments, maybe anger, maybe resentments, maybe relationships, maybe, who knows? There's just a mountain of things that we can release from our past, and we can bring into our present more good. Some years ago, when I was brand new to this teaching, I heard that the universe abhors a vacuum. And so it's a law that when there's an empty space, things come in to fill it. So if you want more clothes in your closet, all you need to do is clean out the ones you don't wear anymore, and more clothes will come. It happened to me, I don't know how many times. Of course, I believed it would happen, and so it did. But the releasing process felt so good to get rid of the things that I didn't use anymore, hadn't worn in the last 3 years, for heaven's sakes. And then more good comes in. The whole idea of releasing allows us to really be a part of the creative process of the universe. Our release of all that we need to let go of brings us into alignment with that highest creative power that there is. I had an insight about this morning, actually, as I was driving to the church. I had come up to a stop sign, and I saw a person riding a bicycle across in front of me, and he had a heavy armload of something on the side of the bike that I couldn't see. And as I pulled up to that stop sign, I was immediately judgmental, I will confess. And when my mind started saying, oh my goodness, I'm a little bit late, I really need to get going, and this guy's going slow, and then I stopped myself, and I went, wait a minute, he has got this heavy load under one arm trying to ride his bicycle. And then I blessed him. I decided, if he has that much to carry while riding a bicycle, it's time that he has a blessing. And so I blessed him, and then I got to church and I was on time. Yep. The thing is, I needed to let go of that judgment. And I'm sure that no one watching and no one here in this room has ever been judgmental. But we need to really watch that, because when we're judging someone else, we're noticing something in ourselves that we don't care for. And that's why we're judging someone else. So judgment is a great thing to let go of, isn't it? That's a great thing to just put there in the trash can. This morning I had this vision in meditation of having a stack of 3x5 cards. And on every card, I would write down a word or two that would indicate something that I needed to release. And so I was thinking, yeah, I could release resentment and judgment and anger. I could release anger at so-and-so for such and such. And I had all of these ideas. And then when I was ready to let them go, I could ceremoniously, I don't burn stuff because I'm afraid of that. So I could ceremoniously wad it up and throw it in the trash and get rid of it. I wonder how much more free I would feel if I actually did that practice. So I'm going to invite each one of us to take the time to think of the things that you want to let go of, and maybe write them down on a Post-it note or something, and just, see how much there is from the past that you can let go of. I'll bet you there is quite a bit. Now, the things that we are releasing, of course, creates this vacuum, and the vision the highest idea for our life then has space to come in, to be a part of us and be expressed through and as us. Oh, man. You see, we get to set the stage for our greater good. We get to set the stage for our greater yet to be. And we can embrace all of those highest ideas that come into us while we release the untruths that no longer need to be with us. And that allows us to move away from being in discord and complaining. Holy smokes. The whole idea of complaining about something keeps us stuck in the thing we're complaining about, because our words are powerful, yes? Yes, okay. So when we are complaining about stuff, it's time for us to stop and say, wait a minute, what good is here? What is the truth here? And this was brought home last night, for heaven's sakes, by my grandson who came home from his job. And he spent probably a good 45 minutes complaining to one person after another as he met them in the house. And it was the same story over and over again, and I could hear it from where I was. And I thought, okay, it's time for me to have a sit down with my grandson and tell him how complaining works, and how he's complaining himself right into more of what he's complaining about. So I get to do that. Rather than judge him, I thought maybe this is a teachable moment to allow him to have a greater idea of himself and his work and the people he works with will allow him to have a better experience. And not only with this job, this is his first job. And so, but not only with this, but in the future. You see, sometimes we have so many troubles, we think. We think we have so much that we have to move through. And there's so much stuff going on. Sometimes we get caught up in the drama of life. And that drama is usually fraught with problems, challenges, and complaints, and so on and so forth. And when we allow ourselves to move into that drama with the people that are having the drama, or maybe it's us having the drama, none of us here, of course. But I know that there were times in my young life when I had drama, because then I felt alive. And so when we allow ourselves to let go of the drama, sometimes it can be a little bit boring. My daughter brought this home to me one day when she was telling me that she'd heard one of my talks years ago on a Sunday morning, and I was talking about the uselessness of complaining and how powerful it was and how judgmental it was and so on. And she said, you know, I went and spent some time with some girlfriends, and they were all complaining about their husbands and their lives, and they were going on and on and on. And she said, I had really decided that I was going to try not to complain anymore. And so she said, I just sat there and I didn't have anything to say. And when you get to that point, when you let go of the complaining, let go of the drama, you don't have anything to say really. And so you might think, this is a little boring. But I'll tell you what, that boring steps aside, and it allows so much more good to come into our lives when we are at a place of joy rather than in a place of negativity and drama and uckiness. So when we elevate our consciousness, our thinking, to that place of joy, what we're doing is matching the vibration of the universe that wants to bring us all the good. Amen? Okay, good. So there are also, doggone it, there's people in our lives that need to be forgiven. And we might be one of them. Mm-hmm. So we need to really make sure that we are practicing our forgiveness in such a way that we allow that person to be released from the grip of our unforgiveness. You see, what happens with unforgiveness is that it's like we have a hold of them by the shirt tail, and we're dragging them around with us in our life because we haven't forgiven them yet. And when we allow ourselves to let go of them through forgiveness, then we are able to have more good in our life because we've let go of the person that has really caused us to need forgiveness. Wow. And then we get to forgive ourselves for our part in anything that needs forgiveness. We have a part in everything that happens in our life. Of course, we're the star of our own universe. We all have our own universe, and we're the star of it. And so we need to forgive ourselves if we want to make sure that we are letting go of the stuff that's in the past that we don't need anymore. Oh my gosh. So forgiving is a big part of this release. I think it's one of the most important practices that we can do. And when we think of someone, you know how, I don't know, for me anyway, I'll be driving the car or doing something mindless like washing dishes, and I'll think of someone, and it'll come to me that I need to forgive them. And so I work on that for a while. And once I have worked on that, what I find is that I feel so much better. I'm no longer tied to the person, the situation, and I'm not sucked into that drama anymore of thinking about it and recreating it in my mind. So the whole thing about our philosophy and the practices that we do is not about getting stuff or getting things or people or whatever. It's not about getting. It's about giving forth who we truly are so that we can live the highest life that we know how to live. And Spirit shows us how to do that if we allow that to happen. So it's oh gosh. It's kind of exciting when you think that we can let go of what has happened in the past so that we can fully embrace everything that's happening in the vision that we're tapping into in the visioning process. But it's not only envisioning that letting go is powerful. Letting go is powerful, period. We just need to do it a lot and allow ourselves to be free from all of the stuff that has bound us to the past. Wow. And we don't have to be dependent anymore on anyone who might have harmed us. We don't have to be dependent on thinking that we have to do things a certain way because so-and-so told us to. Our mothers are good at that, aren't they? They're good at telling us what we need to do, and we do it as mothers and parents. But there might be something larger ready to burst forth from us. You see, visioning allows that beautiful life that is already in the mind of the Creator, it allows that to come forward. And what we're doing is making room for it to come forward when we release and let go. Oh, those words are in the song that the wonderful songwriter and performer Ricky Byers-Beckwith did. And she really nailed it in that song. All I have to do is release and let go, because I'm only here for God. I'm only here to express the divine that is God, that is Spirit, the Creator. We're only here to do that. And so we get to release and let go. Thank goodness for Ricky's song and for the idea that we don't have to do life all by ourselves. The very first part of that song says, I thought I had to do it all by myself. And we start out like that, thinking we have to do it all. And I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Thank you. And I didn't know the love of God was at hand. Oh. And I didn't know I knocked the light down. Okay. But you see, that all of that is so true. The grace of God, the love of God is right with us all the time when we open to it. And the only way we can really, truly open to it is to allow ourselves to let go of what is no longer necessary. We need to let go of anything that might not be true for us anymore. It's so important. So this week, our spiritual practice is going to be letting go. So you get to do it any way you want to, because the more you let go, the more you can experience, the more good you can experience. So I'm going to invite you to take on the spiritual practice of letting go in any way that makes you feel perfect. Whatever is not true for you anymore, you can let it go. Just let it go. And allow that grace and that love and that vision for your life to really fully infill you with all that you need to move forward into a better life. Amen? Amen. That's our spiritual practice for this week. It's only one thing. Just start releasing stuff. And I mean on the inside. You can release stuff on the outside all you want. Clean out a closet, clean out a drawer, do all of that stuff. But on the inside, really get rid of that stuff that's been hanging out inside of you for so long. Because when you let it go, you clear the way for all good to come in. So our affirmation for this week is this: the more I release, the more good I can experience. All right, let's say this together. The more I release, the more good I can experience. Amen and namaste.
Tis a gift to be simple, tis a gift to be free, tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, to be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to plow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come around right. 'Tis a gift to be simple, 'tis a gift to be free, 'tis a gift to come down where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in a place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning, turning we come round right. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shall not be ashamed. To turn and turn will be our delight, till by turning and turning we come round right.
And so today I have just a couple of announcements. One is be sure to tune in on Facebook Live and our YouTube channel for Wednesday evening service. And we could use about 65 more people to subscribe to our YouTube channel, right? We need to break 100. So, what's that? cslredlands.org/YouTube. So please do that. And so on Wednesday evenings from 7 to 8 p.m., we have one of our licensed practitioners, Reverend Dr. Renee Hart, who does a magnificent meditation and inspirational message. So please receive your spiritual boost there, Wednesday nights, 7 to 8 p.m. Also, we invite you to stay today right after service here for our Zoom room and fellowship. And that's where we ask that you're brave enough to turn on your camera and say hello for a few minutes. And we would like to connect to you. So as the state's opening more and more, know that you're welcome to come into our sanctuary. We limit the number of people and seats. We do require all COVID protocols are followed. So you can start to join us as well in person. We're using the sanctuary as a Zoom room or studio. So come on in. We always have fun. And it's really powerful in person. Isn't it different? It's really different. People will tell you that it's the same on Zoom. It is not. Humans are meant to be in the energy of each other. And so we invite you, as you're feeling comfortable and confident to do that, to come back. And then the last announcement, I'm just going to add one. If you listen to the closing song, the beginning, the solo of I Release, listen to it differently today. I want you to listen to every word, and then I want you to sing it to yourself at home. It's a testimony to everything that Reverend Carrie spoke about today and everything that's in the very talk title for today. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Mark, for those announcements. I also want to add one little announcement too. At the beginning of our Sunday morning, we have a meditation here in our sanctuary that's just magnificent. Every time we come into the sanctuary for this meditation, it is so powerful and so wonderful. So I invite you to check that out. It's now time for our offering. And so I'm going to just remind us all that we are receiving our spiritual nourishment right here at Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. And as we receive our spiritual nourishment, it's important for us to give back so that that spiritual nourishment can continue. It brings us into the law of circulation, and it allows us to give and to receive just as the law of circulation says. We give and we receive, and then we receive and then we give. And so there's many ways for us to give to our center. We have donate buttons both on our Facebook page and our website at cslredlands.org. You can also give using Venmo. You can give using Zelle, PayPal, And you can write a check and mail it to our center, or you can bring it along with you when you come to a Sunday service. Or if you're driving by and you have your tithe check with you and you want to just drop it in our secure mailbox, you can do that too. So let's take a moment to place our gift over our heart, if you like, and let's repeat our offering affirmation together. From the love of pure spirit within me, I bless this gift. I send it forth to heal and bless and prosper. It is evidence of my faith and my belief. It does great work in the world. And it returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
As I give, so do I receive, joyfully and gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully and freely. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive, offering my first and best. As I give, so do I receive, knowing how I've been blessed. God is a river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive.
Thank you so much, Gilman. And thank all of you for all of the gifts that you give to your Center for Spiritual Living in Redlands. These gifts are blessed when we receive them, and they are blessed as they are used to take care of expenses that we have. We're so appreciative of all that you do for our center. And so now it's time for our closing healing prayer. And so I'm going to invite all of us to just come together in consciousness and allow yourself to be fully relaxed where you are. Allow yourself to close your outer eyes if that's comfortable for you, and just open wide those inner spiritual eyes that sees all that there is the divine. That divine presence is everywhere present. It is the divine life that creates all things out of itself, creating all life, all wisdom, all wholeness, all beauty, all joy, all abundance. And this divine life has created all of its creation as whole and perfect and complete on every level. I know for each of us that we are each created from that unconditional love that we are. We're created from the unconditional love that is spirit, that is the divine, that is perfection. And so I know in this place of unity, of knowing the truth, I speak my word to know that for everyone within the sound of my voice is blessed and lifted up into a high plane of healing and wholeness, revealing the truth of who we all are. I know that each one of us individually is the presence of the divine, and we express that presence through that beauty and abundance and joy that we truly are. And I know for everyone who might be feeling a little off-center this day, I know that the presence of the divine is at the center and the circumference of all of us, and all of us are standing straight in that beautiful light that is the divine. There is nothing off-center. We're always right in the center of the divine. I speak my word this day for our Center for Spiritual Living here in Redlands. And I speak my word for every church, every synagogue, every mosque, every form of worship is blessed and lifted up so that healings take place in every faith tradition. I know that this center is a thriving and growing and loving center that continues to unfold, that continues to express the divine in every aspect of its life. And I know that this center is attracting all of those who are ready to be blessed and lifted up by this teaching. And I know that this includes adults of every age and children of every age. Yes. And I know that we attract those who are ready to step into service for our church, for our community. We attract all of those who are here living their highest idea of the divine. Yes. And so I know this day that there is blessing throughout the world, that there is divine order taking place within our individual lives and within the lives of all of those that we know and love and all of those that we don't know. And I speak my word to know that each one of us lives in this day as a divine light, smiling into that light with complete and full-on joy, releasing anything that doesn't look like that and moving forward into that joy. And so I give thanks. I give thanks for these words that I've spoken. I give thanks knowing that the law of life is already worked on those words. Everything is coming forward in full and complete manifestation and fruition. It is all done. It is complete. I am so grateful. And so in this gratitude, I release these words. I let them be, and we can claim it and know it together as we say, and so it is. Yeah.
There was a time in my life, thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was at hand. Now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you gotta let it go, let it all go. This is what you have to say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I have forgot. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Woo! Right? Better in person, right? Iris, Eileen, David, Reverend Carrie. All right, so now is the easy time for you, no matter where you are, be brave enough to turn on your camera at home and just say hello to us for a few minutes, right? We're usually in the Zoom room for about up to 20 minutes after service, but we really invite those people too who are all over the world. We have people watch all over the world. Stay and just say hello. Grace us with your presence. Let us know from where you're watching. And we thank you so much for being here with us at CSL Redlands. Know that you're never alone. You are never alone. You are the beloved of the Most High God. Turn on your camera.